make this to your diet. The lemon. That one is not working. Let's go a different one. Yeah.
Can you say that whole thing again?
Oh yeah. Hi everyone, welcome back to my new video. Today I am going to take you through a day in the life of what I eat. Lately I've been cooking a lot of intentionally nutritious meals. To give you a bit of a background story, my daughter and I have been on a 3-week cleanse. So our food planning and preparation has been really important to our household. I will be sharing with you 3 of my favorite recipes that I love to have on a daily. As a busy mum and a business owner, it's really important to me that I can grab breakfast on the go and make sure that it is super sustainable and nutritious. I also like to bulk prep my lunches at the beginning of the week because it's much more convenient to just grab something out of the fridge and get out of the house. So grab your aprons and let's get cooking. This is my untoasted morning blend, which is an absolute go-to. I use puffed quinoa. I'm literally just popping all of this into, did you get that? Into an airtight container. I literally just pop it all in here we've got chia seeds, goji berries, and of course, I'm an advocate for any nuts, seeds, dry fruit that you prefer. I've got some dried blueberries, cranberries. I'm not a huge sweet tooth, but I do like dried fruit, and some flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds, chopped almonds. Look how easy this is. Unroasted coconut. I literally pop all of that into an airtight container, shake it up, just like this. So this is my untoasted morning blend. You saw how easy that was. You can make this to suit your dietary preferences. If you're gluten-free, plant-based, sugar-free, you can make this to suit you. Now, another thing that I do, even though this is untoasted, every now and then I actually turn it into a granola. So I lay it all out on a pan, I add some coconut oil to it and some rice malt syrup. You can add honey, of course, and then I toast it in the oven, and that makes a granola. And you just saw how easy that is. It probably took me, 30 seconds to shake that up, and this will last me for about 2 weeks, I would say. Okay, so my morning go-to breakfast is always, without fail, Greek yogurt, my breakfast blend, which I just spoke to you about and showed you that recipe, and I hope you guys love that. Look how much Greek yogurt I use. We go through so much Greek yogurt. You should see how much my husband bought yesterday. And then I add some protein powder. We only have chocolate protein powder, but I actually like the salted caramel. And then I just mix that together. And then my famous morning breakfast blend just goes straight on top. Yum! I use a lot of berries in the morning. This is how I get most of my fruit in through the day. Look at this. And I use rice malt syrup rather than honey, but obviously whatever your preference is. And if I'm feeling a bit naughty, I love to put melted peanut butter over the top. It's indulging and it's glorious. Now, you might look at this and think this is just a treat, a sweet treat, and it kind of is really. I get so much sweetness out of this. So that is my morning breakfast. I hope you guys love it. If you do try it, please leave a comment and let me know what you think. This is my on-the-go breakfast. Look how good that looks. I really should have added peanut butter today. My bad. I love this breakfast. And I can sit it here, get some work done, have it. Sometimes this will last me for 2 hours. I like starting the day by filling my water bottle up with cold water and including lemon and Celtic salt. Lemon is a great way to rehydrate after hours of sleep and supports the digestive system. I use a pinch of Celtic salt in my water. It's such a good source of minerals, including magnesium, calcium, potassium, and iron to replenish electrolytes. So for this recipe, I'm actually just using chicken thigh fillets. Some people are definitely a chicken breast person. I love chicken thighs over breasts, I have to admit. So I'm just going to cut these thigh fillets up into smaller pieces. The reason why I do that is because I put all of this lunch into our bento box, so I make sure that it is all bite-sized pieces. I'm gonna cut all of these thigh fillets up, and then I'm gonna dress it with herbs, lemon, oil, salt and pepper. But I love the freshness of herbs. And I just went and grabbed some fresh oregano and fresh thyme from the garden. So this looks a little dodgy, it's very rusty, but this is my preserved lemons. Oh my goodness, I wish you could smell that. I love to preserve lemons. I probably do maybe about 4 jars at a time. Now, if you want me to show you how I make my preserved lemons, I would love to do that at some point. But for now, all I do is actually remove the flesh of the lemon. I use a lot of preserved lemon in my recipes. I love using them for chicken dishes, fish dishes, and also for salads. So you need to come and see this. It is so delicious. Can I show you that? Can you see that? Oh my goodness. So now we're just gonna toss all of this together. Yum. So we're just going to make our green leafy salad. I have pre-washed the rocket. I'm now just going to pop some kale in. I actually love to use a variation of greens in my salad just for a bit of texture. And I love kale because it's so nutritious. All right, so I have just prepared the pear, finely sliced that. I'm just gonna put some goat's cheese. I'm going all in right here, fingers and all, look at that. And I love to use the oil that the goat's cheese was marinated in. So we just pop that over the top. Cool. And then I love to add oregano over the top of this. It's not traditionally something that people add over the top, but I think this just adds to the flavor. And because we're using this flavor in the chicken, I think it ties in really nicely. Okay, so we're just adding preserved lemon over the top. Now for the dressing. I'm going to pre-dress our salad because this is going into lunch boxes that we can dress throughout the week. We obviously don't want to spoil the salad by putting dressing on too early. So the dressing's really simple. We've got oil with some white vinegar. Because this will make enough for about 4 or 5 salads, I'm just going to make quite a good portion of the dressing. Good squeeze of honey. Yum. You can also add some balsamic honey or some like glazed balsamic, which also adds to the stickiness and the sweetness. A little bit of salt and some lemon. Now, because I've got oregano over the salad, I'm not going to add oregano into the dressing, but you could do either or, to be honest. All right, we're going to shake that up. Have a little taste. That's actually pretty good. I'm happy with that. Yum. I'd say the chicken's about 5 to 7 minutes away. I like my chicken to be really browned. So, all right, now we are meal prepping for the week. So we have our salad done, our chicken is on, our dressing is all done. So this is what a typical Sunday would look like for me. I try and do all the elements. I have my 4 bento boxes, and shameless plug, this is Ella and Earth. These bento boxes have been our staple product for the last 4 years, and they continue to sell really well. So I like to have my meals prepped. I've got my salad, which I actually haven't tossed. I'll show you what I'm gonna do. I'm just going to grab sections of it like this and pop it straight in there. I feel like sometimes when you toss a salad, all the goodness ends up at the bottom of the salad bowl. So I'm just grabbing everything from the top. And then I'm going to go and disperse all that yummy goodness into each of those bowls. All right, so our dressing here, I'm going to put into our new Ella and Earth small containers. This is literally for the purpose of dressings, because I love to meal prep my lunches, and I was just finding that I had nowhere to put my dressing. So we brought these little containers in. They are absolutely perfect, and they fit so well into our bento boxes. So that is just going to sit right there on top of our salad. And then I'm going to put the chicken on around this little container. Guys, that chicken looks good. Do you ever wish sometimes that there is that ability to smell through your TV? That would be my dream, although I'd be very hungry. Look how good that looks. Typical work day. This is what my work lunch and bag would look like. So I have my lunch, which I pre-made. And that just goes into my new Ella and Earth lunch bucket bag. It's fully insulated, which is why I love it so much, because again, I wanted a lunch bag that actually looks like a handbag. And then my water bottle, which has got my lemon and Celtic salt water in it, and the seeds. So that is me on a typical day. Every now and then I mentioned to you guys that I love breakfast on the go. So I would also put my nesting container in here, which has my yogurt bowl. But let me just quickly show you. This one doesn't have anything in it, but let's hypothetically say that that had my yogurt bowl. Everything fits in here so neatly. So I could also put that in there. And then that would be my day. So my bag is actually filled with food and hydration. We are back for dinner. Okay, it's been a big day in the kitchen. This is another go-to of mine. I mentioned earlier that I love to bring you a recipe that is really wholesome and nutritious and something tried and tested many times by my family. And this is one of those ones where you put the soup down in front of them on a nice winter's day and they love it. And as a parent, I love it because my kids are then getting so many wonderful things into their diet. So we're using pumpkin. If you don't like to use pumpkin in your soups, then I would suggest maybe a sweet potato, but we're not actually eating sweet potato at the moment. We have celery, carrot, onion is one thing I would also say to put into your soup because it adds to the sweetness of it, but I'm also not eating onion at the moment. Some garlic, ginger, we have coriander, lots of spices, and a handful of spinach. We have lentils and our chicken, which we're about to poach. So let's start with poaching our chicken. So I have 4 large chicken breasts, and I'm not doing anything special to them. I'm literally just going to lay them in this cast iron pot. Guys, have you seen this before? Look at that. This is so convenient. So poaching the chicken with chicken stock, it just helps to give flavor. I love flavor. I don't like simple dishes. So anytime I can get some salt or pepper or stock into my recipes, I always do that. Let that boil for about 30 minutes and then we'll come back to it. Okay, everything is prepped and chopped up. I have all of my spices here and my garlic and ginger, carrot and celery. So we're about to go and saute all of this off before we add the stock and the lentils. So let's go to the stove, get all of this done. Right, so I've just heated the oil up on the pan. I'm going to add all of our spices into the pan now just to fry them off, and that is just going to help to make them smell so aromatic. That is going to be beautiful. That smells delicious. With all the spices in the bottom here, it's kind of like a paste, so it's actually going to protect the garlic and the ginger from burning off. I'm going to add the carrot and the celery, saute those together. Yum, yum, yum. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of water to that. I've just added water and stock now to this soup. I've made quite a bit of this soup because I like to be able to freeze it and pull it out on those nights that we can't be bothered to cook. So I'm just about to put our lentils into the soup. And then that literally just stays like that for the next probably 20 to 30 minutes. I'm just going to bring that into the boil. I still want the pumpkin to hold some of its form, so we're going to really just lightly roast this, but I'm leaving the skin on because if I take the skin off, the flesh is going to turn to mush a little bit. So that by keeping the skin on, I feel like it's just going to hold its form better. And we are going to put that into the roasting pan for maybe like 15 minutes. What I would use alternatively to pumpkin is a sweet potato. It does tend to hold its shape and its form a little bit better, and it's still nice and firm. Right, chicken is poached. I'm now just shredding it so that I can put that into the soup. The pumpkin is now in the soup. I lightly roasted that, and I've also added the spinach in. And I just had to check to make sure that the lentils were all cooked, and they are beautiful and al dente. So now it's just the last of the soup is the shredded chicken. Our soup is ready. It smells amazing. I have just topped it off with some coriander. Fan or not a fan, it's up to you. I love a bit of coriander over the top, plus a sprinkle of lime. So that is us. We are all done. That is everything I eat in a day. I hope you got some great valuable tips and some good recipes that you can introduce into your family's routine. I would love for you to like and comment below, and of course let us know if you try any of these recipes.